My sister helped my parents destroy my face with illegal skin whitening cream, so I cut them all off for good. 2 years later, my sister came crawling back, terrified and begging for help. My family are the most racist people I've ever met. Whenever we went outside during summer, my mom would count the number of times my sister and I stepped out of the shade. When we got home, each time counted as one hard slap. For years, our morning routine consisted of mom rubbing skin whitener from the Dollar Tree all over our bodies, and the whiter we looked, the better treatment she gave us. I remember just wanting to be a normal kid. But my sister, she was a whitewashed queen. Every night, she set an alarm for every 2 hours to disrupt her sleep. She was exhausted all the time, which made her look more pale. Instead of telling her that her health mattered more than pale skin, our parents treated her like royalty. Beautiful dresses, expensive jewelry, anything she wanted. Soon it became clear who the golden child was. If I wanted my parents' love, this was what I had to do. So I got straight A's in school, cleaned the house top to bottom every weekend, gave my parents foot massages. Thanks, honey, but I really wish you worked this hard on getting beautiful pale skin like your sister. They'd always say. After my parents shipped me a bleach hair product from Africa for my 16th birthday, I spent the entire day crying into a Barnes and Noble teddy bear in my room. That's when my sister came in and hugged me. I thought she'd finally say I was beautiful just as I was. Instead, she said, "I love you, and I want to help you." Look at me. I stared at her malnourished self, eye bags forming crates under her eyes, chemical burns on her scalp from straightening her hair. She truly believed that burning and bleaching herself was the way. From then on, I started wearing foundation 2 shades too light and found ways to cover up the rest of my body. Not because I hated my brown skin or natural curls, but because it made my parents happier and they were the people who birthed me. Fast forward 6 years. I just graduated from the University of Florida. By last Thanksgiving, I was feeling really good. I'd taken up running and spent so much time outside that I was forced to embrace my natural hue, and I loved it. My boyfriend Carlos loved it too. He was half Puerto Rican, half Italian, and very familiar with internalized racism. He was also white passing, so I expected everything with my parents to be okay until reality hit. I showed up at my parents' house holding Carlos's hand. I'd even put on slightly lighter foundation to lessen the blow. When the door opened, I saw a woman who looked like my sister, only more depressed, deathly pale, and extremely skinny. My heart broke and hers did too, because she cried out, "Dios mío, what are you doing to our bloodline?" My boyfriend squeezed my hand as if to say, "It's okay, we got this." Meanwhile, tears streamed down my face. "My love, what have you done to yourself?" My mom screamed, trying to undo my slit-back bun and straighten my hair with her fingers. Then she saw Carlos. Her mouth opened so wide I thought her jaw would snap in two. "Ah, you almost had me believing that this monkey was actually your boyfriend," she chuckled. "But I understand you're young, just messing around." My dad grabbed my hand to drag me inside and immediately handed my sister the skin whitening cream to put on my face, except it wasn't the same one from my childhood. This one hurt," he said. "Get away from me," I yelled, tears streaming down my face. Within seconds, blisters covered my face and began peeling. I screamed as if my face had been dipped in hot sauce over 100 times. Luckily, Carlos called the hospital, and they arrived. By the time nurses saw me, my eyebrows were already burned off. The next morning, I woke up from a skin grafting procedure to see Carlos kissing my hand and calling me beautiful until I checked my phone. Dozens of texts and missed calls flooded in. The first voicemail was angry, calling me a disappointment to the family. The second was threatening. By the 10th, my sister was begging me not to press charges. "They're our parents," she said in her message. "They just want what's best for us. Please come home, and we can fix this." I couldn't believe she was still defending them after everything. Her voice sounded hollow, defeated, like someone who had given up fighting long ago. Carlos sat with me as I listened. "Layla," he said quietly, "this isn't normal. What they did to you is abuse. It's always been abuse." His words made something inside me click. I realized I had been normalizing their cruelty, blaming myself for not being what they wanted. Later that day, the hospital social worker asked about my burns. For the first time, I told someone the whole truth about my family. With her help, I filed a police report. My hands shook so badly I could barely sign the paperwork. Officer Ramirez, the detective who took my statement, told me, "You're doing the right thing." As I detailed years of abuse, Carlos stayed with me through the questioning, bringing real food because hospital food is straight trash. Nurses kept calling him my husband, and neither of us corrected them. It felt nice, like a glimpse into a future where I had a real family that cared. My phone blew up with messages from my parents and sister. I eventually turned it off because the threats spiked my blood pressure, which the doctor warned against. My mom switched between threatening and begging. My dad sent long paragraphs about family loyalty and betrayal. The irony of him talking about heritage while literally trying to bleach it off my skin was not lost on me. The worst messages were from Elena. "They're going to take me away if you do this," she texted. "Please, Ela, I need them. I don't know how to live any other way." It hurt to see how terrified she was. When your identity is built around pleasing someone else, losing that structure can feel terrifying. I got discharged after 3 days, my face bandaged like a low-budget horror film. The doctor said I'd need follow-ups for months to ensure proper healing. They also gave me an expensive cream, thank God for Carlos's insurance. We went straight to his one-bedroom apartment near campus. It felt safer than home. That first night away, I lost it ugly, crying, snot flowing. Carlos held me and let me get it all out. I kept saying I should have done something sooner, that maybe I was overreacting. He just listened, wiping my tears carefully to avoid the bandages. A part of me still wanted my parents' love. The next morning, a knock on the door made me hide. It wasn't them. It was Officer Ramirez with another officer. They'd spoken with my parents, who claimed I'd had an allergic reaction to a normal beauty product. Of course they'd say that. Officer Chen asked if I had evidence, photographs of slap marks, packaging from the cream. "Who keeps that stuff?" I started to panic, but Carlos spoke up. "The hospital has the chemical analysis. That will prove it wasn't normal." Chen nodded. "We'll get that report." They issued a temporary restraining order. My parents couldn't contact me. I checked my phone again. 17 missed calls from Mom, 12 from Dad, 23 from Elena, plus a flood of texts. "They're saying you're mentally unstable." One message. "Read. They have pictures of you looking happy at family events to prove it." They'd twist everything. Carlos suggested I reach out to anyone who might remember the abuse: my old neighbor, Mrs. Patel, my high school counselor, Mr. Thompson. Most people remembered something off, but nothing specific enough. I was losing hope until Jasmine from college texted that she had pictures from freshman year showing chemical burns on my neck. I had begged her to delete them then. Now she offered them willingly. Meanwhile, Carlos rearranged his schedule to drive me to appointments, cooked real meals, researched skincare for burn recovery when he thought I was asleep. A week later, Danielle, a victim advocate from the DA's office, called. They were considering charges but needed more info. Hospital records, chemistry reports. She also told me, with dread, "We have a statement from your sister." My heart stopped. Elena was supporting our parents. "You've always been jealous of her relationship with them," Danielle quoted. I hung up and threw my phone. Carlos comforted me. "She's scared. She's still living with them." I called Elena. She said, "You need to drop this. They're really angry. They're hurting you too." I whispered, "Look at yourself. When was the last time you ate a full meal or slept through the night?" She snapped back. "I'm fine. I'm beautiful. You're disappearing. You can get out," I said. She hung up. I started a notebook, writing down every incident with as much detail as I could remember: each slap for sun exposure, each bleaching session. It hurt, but I needed to purge it. 3 weeks after Thanksgiving, Aunt Rosa, my mom's sister, called. She said she'd suspected abuse and found our grandmother's diaries about her own bleaching. The cycle of abuse had started before I was born. Rosa offered to testify and let me stay with her in Miami if needed. I thanked her but stayed with Carlos. Then I spotted Elena at my dermatologist appointment. even thinner than before. She'd followed her mom's grocery trip to get away. Carlos offered our home, and she accepted. With Elena safe, we brought the USB drive she'd taken from our dad's office, financial records showing years of illegal skin whitening imports, to Danielle. She said it would strengthen the case. We waited anxiously for Elena, cleaned the apartment, made quesadillas her favorite. Finally, she arrived, terrified but resolute. Elena testified, bruises on her arms as evidence. Her statement, combined with the hospital and financial records, led the DA to add charges of child abuse, endangerment, and illegal importation. Then the call came. Our parents had been arrested, held on high bail. I felt hollow, but Elena felt relief. "It's really over," she whispered. Danielle arranged therapy for us and set up follow-ups. Carlos stayed the night to keep us safe from nightmares and panic attacks. We signed the lease on a larger apartment. Carlos kept his place, but we all made space. Our parents were released on parole with a restraining order. My mom sent letters, apologies mixed with excuses. I showed one to Elena. "Do you believe her?" she asked. "Maybe," I said. "Not yet. I graduated with a psychology degree, inspired to help others." Elena pursued art therapy. Carlos proposed on my birthday in the botanical gardens. I said yes. 2 years later, our parents' parole officer confirmed they'd moved away. We married in a small park ceremony. Elena was maid of honor. Aunt Rosa attended with cousins who testified in our case. Carlos's family welcomed us warmly. I wore my natural curls and brown skin proudly. The burn scars were part of my story. Life continued. We bought a house with a yard where I garden without counting sun exposure minutes. Elena taught art classes, still in therapy but thriving. On the 5th anniversary of Thanksgiving, Mom wrote asking to meet on our terms. Elena and I discussed it with our therapists. We chose a coffee shop near her office, with Carlos present, and met Mom twice, more honest, awkward, and slowly healing. Years later, I had a daughter, Rosa, named for Aunt Rosa. Elena became the world's most devoted aunt. When Mom met Rosa, she cooed that she was perfect just as she was. I agreed. She always will be, no matter what she looks like. We've built a new family, imperfect, real, and based on unconditional love. The scars remain, but so does our strength. 7 years after that terrible Thanksgiving, Elena married Ralph on a beach. She wore a sleeveless dress and let her natural skin show. I watched her take up space in the world, proud that together, we broke the cycle, found our voices, and started to heal.